Accommodation versus modification in education. Accommodation, unlike modification, does not fundamentally change or lower the existing standard for students with disabilities. It primarily includes environmental and physical changes aimed at introducing improved learning strategies, lengthening the time, using Braille, or shortening the length of the text. Modifications are, in turn, changes in the course, standard, or exam preparation under the needs of a student with disabilities, which imply a conscious intellectual decrease in the level of the presented materials. Thus, an example is the adaptation of materials by simplifying the content to make speech constructions more simple or applying adjusted assessment standards when giving such students marks. It seems that Accommodation will not need the implementation of modifications, and only a few accommodations are required. This child understands most of the English language but most likely has difficulty with oral speech. Presumably, it is necessary to use visual cues during the lesson, for example, to duplicate the teacher's words with the text on the interactive whiteboard. An emphasis could also be placed on working in small groups, where attention would be paid to communication between students and the formation of speaking skills. Modifications would be necessary if Accommodation understood only a small part of what is spoken and written, but this is not the case. Therefore, there is no need to change the assessment standards for such a student fundamentally. In the case of Joshua, a few accommodations will also suffice. This student prefers to do rather than listen, therefore, it is necessary to organize the lessons so that the students can be busy with specific tasks. The teacher must initiate various activities for active and restless students to not get bored. Since it is impossible and impractical to completely abandon the format when students need to listen to the teacher, it is crucial to increase the pause time and alternate one task with another regularly. It is essential to conduct classes in which students will have the opportunity to express themselves, and, as already indicated above, it will be helpful for Accommodation as well. It seems Avery also does not need to lower the testing standards and assessment of her knowledge, that is modifications. A few accommodations will be enough to provide Avery with materials specially adapted for visually impaired students. In addition, it will be necessary to use a speech synthesizer, which allows a visually impaired student to hear what is presented on the screen using headphones. Correct seating is also considered one of the accommodations used by teachers while schooling. When the chalkboard is in front of the classroom, the front row of desks in the center row is an excellent place to seat the visually impaired child. Indeed, this student will need more time to become acquainted with the materials in various situations, but this is more related to technical issues than her intellectual abilities. Accommodations do not require changes in the material's content and the tests conducted to help students experiencing intellectual difficulties in learning. At the same time, modifications are aimed precisely at this. It is crucial to understand the difference between these two methods since their correct use depends on how much the children's potential can be identified, and their learning needs are met. On this page, those who wish can familiarize themselves with the difference between the two strategies. It briefly explains the essence of the concepts and suggests practical steps to implement the changes.